got hooked up with it through. I knew everything was fucked. Like, first of all, let me say, you know, people still say to me, "Oh man, you still into that?" And I'm like, dude, it's not like, you know, it's not like some certain dudes who came from the suburbs of Connecticut that put on the friggin' Krishna robes and got on stage, and it was like a trend to them, and it was like, you know, they led everybody to one of the gurus who allowed children to be molested, and you know, so much crap has gone down in this movement, and like Edmund Burke said, all it takes for evil to prevail is for good men and women to do nothing. So if you don't do nothing and point people out of what the fuck they did, and in my eyes, if you touch a fucking kid, man, that's the ultimate fucking wrath. Prabhupada said they should be hung. Anyone who touches a child should be hung. And these guys hijacked Prabhupada's movement. They split the world up. They friggin' raped children. They stole millions of dollars. They murdered people. That's one thing I held back from the audio book, because they threatened to sue me, and I was like, well, then I'm not going to talk about it in the audio book because it's going to give them a heads up, but it's in the book. Mm-hmm. And the things that they've done is disgusting. They ruined. Hare Krishna was the fastest growing religion in America at one point in the 60s. The Beatles were into it, everybody. They destroyed everything, mm-hmm. and not by these guys, by Prabhupada's ultimate devotion. Mm-hmm. So they destroyed all of that for their own gain and worship, and it's disgusting. So I'm involved with a bunch of Prabhupada disciples who want to rid the movement of these parasites that have leached onto the movement and bleeding it for everything and allowed all this stuff to go down. Prabhupada never appointed them as gurus. They just took over. They hijacked the movement. So that's what the IRM is exposing these people. And, you know, we've been labeled as fault finders, and, you know, we commit, you know, aparad or offenses. But Prabhupada said, call a thief a thief. It's not an offense. You're supposed to let people know, hey, that's a thief. Don't put your valuables down. Mm-hmm. That's not an offense. If they don't act like a devotee, mm-hmm. and that's why everybody gets away with it in all these religions too. The Christians, oh, he's the priest. Don't say nothing bad about him. You know what I say? Fuck them. They're not priests. They're fucking con artists. Yes. And they should be exposed and outed so that parents know, don't leave your kid around this fucking guy because he's going to touch your kid. Yeah, and they get away with a lot of shit. And now they used to beat up the devotees. They used to do all this stuff. And now that I have gang members protecting our people when they go out to distribute the magazine back to Prabhupada, mm-hmm. and these guys roll up like FSU and the lads, and dudes roll up with guns, and my friends in government, you know, kind of special forces dudes protecting them. Now they've labeled us as thugs. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, we're not thugs. We just protect people who want to speak the truth. You touch one of our devotees, you're going to get yours. And that's what it's all about. But all these Krishna kids that came to the movement, they were totally duped. And now, you know, Ray called me up, Capo, oh yeah, man, I want to do this New York hardcore documentary. Got to get you in it. You know what I told him? I said, you tell people that your so-called guru, what he did, and you expose him, and you tell all these kids that you brought to Hare Krishna, that dude is bogus, and I'll do your interview. He said, well, I can't do that. I said, well, this conversation's over, kid. Hung up the phone. Like what I say, you know, and I said it in the end of the book, you know, if anybody's helped by what's written in the pages, then the book did its job. It's just like I said with the Cro-Mags, Age of Quarrel. You know, everyone asked that question too. Well, how do you feel about the effect? I don't sit around thinking about that type of stuff, man. I try to stay focused and grounded, and I think, like, you know, truthful things affect people. You know, the truth was the truth, you know, 1,000 years ago, whatever, and it'll still be the truth, and that's why even that record is relevant to this day. But it's like, you know, I look at it as like, yo, that was my therapy. If that helps people, the book, then I'm like, then it did its job. But to sit around thinking like, you know, I'm so, you know what I'm saying? You have to stay humble, because like, even Chanakya Pandit, a great philosopher in India, said, he who praises me is my enemy. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, the false ego is so, you know, that's what destroyed, you know, the Cro-Mags, really, was people's egos, false egos, getting out of control. So you have to really stay humble and grounded and not think like, you know, because my ultimate goal really was to show people my journey and how it came to reaching the message of what Prabhupada has to offer the world, and that's the real deal, because everything else is just, it's smoke and mirrors, man. Oh man, I like so much stuff, but it's hard to just nail it down, man. I'm really into the greens, and I just turned 45, so I'm training for triathlons now. I just did a marathon, and I really try to do foods that, I'm not bragging, but I beat all the dudes in a running group that I did the marathon with, and I was the oldest one.
That's the picture that was on your MySpace.
They were like, "Damn, old man, you made us look bad." But it's taking care of yourself. It's 20-something years of training and eating right, and so But I'm really into. I try to eat as much raw stuff as I can, and juicing. I'm really into the juicing, wheatgrass, and all that kind of stuff, because it rejuvenates your cells in your body. So I'm really into that.
Let me live, let me try, let me fight, let me die.